When it comes to gear, the choice of the pickup is crucial. No other part of the guitar affects the shape of the sound as much as the pickup does. So I thought, why not dedicate a whole video on this topic? This video is not supposed to be an A/B comparison or a blindfold test, and the reason for that is very simple. For a proper A/B comparison, you want to use the same guitar with the same electronics and simply swap the pickups. And that is not the case here. So what I want to do instead is give you an overview of the different types of pickups. There are already a lot of pickup demonstrations on YouTube, and most of them are focused on high gain sounds. And this is not the sound I personally prefer. If you are familiar with my channel, you know I am mainly a blues and jazz player, so my focus is on clean sounds, the neck pickup, sometimes with a little bit of overdrive, emphasis on little. Another important point is to keep in mind that a pickup doesn't work on its own. It works together with a whole guitar, with the whole construction of the guitar, including the woods and of course the electronics. But there are differences between the pickups worth considering, and this is exactly what we're going to explore in this video. First and foremost, the pickups I want to talk about are Humbucker, P-90, Charlie Christian and the Telecaster single coil. Basically, there are two different types of pickups, single coils and humbuckers. As the name suggests, a single coil consists of only one single coil. In contrast, a humbucker has two coils. The humbucker was invented in 1957 with the purpose of reducing the typical noise of a single coil pickup. So let's start with the humbucker. This is my Gibson 175 custom shop. Really great guitar. It's built very close to the original specifications, including the warped top. The pickup of this guitar is a MHS, Memphis Historic Specs. And to my opinion, one of the best pickups Gibson made over the last few decades. It sounds really fat with nicely defined highs. You can clearly hear that boost in the lower mid-range, which is very typical for a humbucker. It gives you that beautiful warmth, which works incredibly well for jazz. Same pickup here, another guitar. This is my ES335 built in Memphis in the 2010s. It uses the same pickup. Now let's hear how this one sounds. The ES335 is definitely brighter, although the character of the pickup is essentially the same. The main difference comes from the construction. The ES175 is larger and fully hollow, while the ES335 has a center block. Presumably, this is the biggest reason for the tonal difference. So, to sum it up, the humbucker is a powerful pickup with a plenty of sustain, a round and warm tone, and a tasteful boost in the lower mids. That's why it's often considered the ideal pickup choice for many jazz players. The humbucker may be the most popular pickup, but it was not the first one. It began in the 1930s with the legendary Charlie Christian. This here is my Gibson ES150. If you ever wondered about the purpose of these three characteristic screws, they actually hold the magnets in place. In other words, the magnets of the pickup are quite large and are mounted with screws directly under the top of the guitar. These pickups were replaced in 1946 by the P-90. They had a short-lived renaissance in the early 1970s as part of the ES175 lineup, and they become popular again in recent years thanks to several companies producing proper replicas. Definitely much brighter, more percussive and less compressed than the humbucker. It has a wonderful openness and responds beautifully to whatever you're playing. The advantage of the P-90 was its smaller size compared to the Charlie Christian and the addition of adjustable pole pieces. At that time, players often had issues with the round G string because it sounds weaker than the adjacent B string, and adjustable pole pieces helped them solve that problem. This is my 1962 Epiphone Casino with two P-90 and its beautiful black dog ear covers. Believe it or not, this pickup is first of all loud, quite authoritative actually, and it has a slightly gritty, bitey character. P-90s were great rock and roll pickups in the 1950s, perfect for John Lennon and Paul McCartney in the 1960s, and they are still an undoubtedly perfect choice today for more aggressive guitar sounds that higher output and mid-range growl push amplifiers easily into natural overdrive. So if you're not confused by now, and I hope you're not, there's one pickup left to cover, the Fender single coil. Since we're focusing on the neck pickup today, I chose the Telecaster pickup over the Stratocaster pickup for one single reason. I just prefer the Telecaster, and I think the pickups are very similar in this context. This is my 1967 Fender Telecaster. Quite a story of its own. Maybe I should make a whole video about this guitar, its history, what has been changed over the years and so on. I had the chance to see Julian Lage live in Hamburg last year. And this guy is really unbelievable. He played a Telecaster, different pickup though, straight through a simple Fender amp, nothing fancy, no tricks. Josh Smith was also in town, also T-style guitar, I think it was an Ibanez, and a totally different approach, and this guy really blew me away. So here we have two world-class guitar players, different approaches, different stylistic, and both choose a Telecaster. Why is that? Compared to the other pickups we've talked about, the Telecaster sounds thinner and delivers much less output. But with an amp, that's really not that big of a deal. You can easily thicken your sound, but it's harder to thin it out. The Telecaster pickup sounds very natural and produces even frequencies across. You can use it for twangy tones or shape the color of the sound with pedals. That's why it's so versatile. So what are my final thoughts? Honestly, there's no good or bad or right or wrong. It's simply a question of taste. And I made this video to give you an overview so you can make your own choice. I personally tend to prefer the Charlie Christian, but I use my ER335 with the humbuckers quite often when it comes to recording and YouTube videos. And the reason for that is pretty simple. It's so convenient, especially when it comes to noise and compression. So which pickup do you like best? Let me hear it in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. That's it for today. Thanks for joining me until the end. That really means a lot. And if you like this content, don't hesitate to hit subscribe for good karma. Stay tuned. See you next time.